The people who watched it were delighted. One of the people said that their wounds seemed to have disappeared. What kind of ability is this? It's just amazing. This girl is kind, beautiful, and also with such a powerful healing power. Rabbit Mouse said that everyone should go to the shelter as soon as possible in order to avoid further trouble. But then a monster appeared. Everyone's ears hurt because the sound was terrifying. The girl said that this sound has changed. Now it seems to her that her brain is about to explode. The Fire Fist girl said what it was. Is this some kind of berserker? Yang Zai said it was bad. This monster consumes the souls of people who are nearby. This monster began to absorb the souls of people who were nearby. The Green Storm, addressing Lady Fire Fist, asked what is it. The Fiery Fist replied that this creature absorbs the soul energy of people who have already died. And she heals her wounds, too. The journalist leading the report asked if all her wounds were clamped. Will the best fighter be able to go now to cope with the Soul Eater rat who met her face to face? But where are the rest of the heroes from the Resistance squad? The Fiery Fist told the Green Storm to retreat. After all, it seems to her that this monster will be just ruthless. Without waiting for the response of the Green Storm, Oceana Fist decided to attack this monster again. She attacked him with words to make this monster burn in hell, calling her a stupid rat. After attacking the monsters of the oceans, the fist exhaled and said that this time it should work, right? But it wasn't like that. The monster was much more cunning. He attacked the girl not with a fist from behind his tail and punched her through. Fire Fist started bleeding and said it was a very dirty trick. How disgusting. After that, this monster threw the Fire Fist girl far to the side. People began to write in the comments that they are so scared and their city of Lugansk is now in danger. Someone wondered if the Fire Fist girl was going to die now. Someone should rather help her and everyone else at the same time. But the Fire Fist girl was not going to give up and was writhing in pain. She said that she could not die here because she needed to get rid of this monster as soon as possible. Then the Green Storm came to her aid. Fire Fist was very surprised to see her here and asked her what she was doing here. Did she really want to die? The Green Storm of crying said that her duty as a hero is to protect people. She can't just run away. When I met the monster, the journalist was also very surprised and said that everyone saw her as a noble heroine who saved the city of Lugansk. And the monster was advancing on them. But at the last moment, they were saved by Yang Zai, who threw a metal thing at the tail of this monster, thereby nailing its tail to the ground. The journalist began to conduct a live broadcast even more actively, said that wow, at the moment when they needed him the most, a super rank hero named Yu Jai appeared. But who is such a nice girl next to him? Then the comments came to life. People began to write that Mr. Yu Jai is their hero. He came to save them. And they asked that who is the hot lady in the mask next to him. Everyone wanted to know more about her right now. Someone wrote to just look at her mask, similar to is also a member of the organization of judges. Fire Fist asked, what are they doing? The Green Storm told her that she had no idea, but they were probably saving them. Yang Zai in the sky was creating more and more metal spears, which all punched and punched through the dense skin of this monster. The girl Fire Fist said that now it is clear. This rat is treated when it absorbs the energy of other people. It is not easy to overcome. And what is most important, how to block this ability of hers. The Green Storm asked what to block. Why doesn't she just shut her mouth then? The Fiery Fist hit the Green Storm on the head and asked her what else she could think of. Meanwhile, Yang Zai lifted this monster high into the sky. The monster was also not going to give up and sent its shockwave at Yang Zai and again. But Yang Zai used his ability to block her kick. Yang Zai turned to Mao Rabbit and told her not to let this monster open its mouth. Rabbit Mao said it was fine. She used her ability called Snow Tornado. People were all looking at the sky with great curiosity and telling them to look. This girl froze this monster. Oh, but he's so huge, how could she do that? And she must have a high rank. Fire Fist asked if this monster was healing again. Yang 11 lifted this monster into the sky again and told him not to even think about feeding on other people's energy again. From such a height, he definitely won't be able to move to a single corpse. And, accordingly, it will not be possible to apply the soul absorption spell. Yang Zai then used his Metal Storm ability and killed the monster. After that, he stole his abilities. It was a rank ability. This ability was called Soul Eater. Description of abilities. It can absorb the soul of people who have already died in order to restore the owner's village. But by doing so it provokes characteristic mental disorders. Ability assessment. The owner of such an ability should be extremely vigilant when using it. After receiving this ability, Yang Zai said that a Soul Eater, he differs from the Heart of Light in that he requires energy from the souls of other people to recover. But, however, they are similar to your healing ability. A helicopter with reporters kept flying over the buildings and telling citizens not to panic. The journalists said that now they will disperse the clouds in order to show everyone what situation Mr. Ujai is in now, in real time. When they dispersed the clouds, they saw that Mr. Ujai was right next to them. The journalist waved her hand at him and said that they really wanted to interview him. A lot of comments poured in. Someone said that wow, Mr. Ujai took this creature with him to the sky, then she disappeared. Someone else asked if he had killed her above the clouds. So that's the strength of a real A-rank hero. Another person wrote that several heroes could not cope with the Soul Eater and were injured. But now, a few minutes later, she's gone. Fire Fist said that his strength is many times greater than the Soul Eater rat. He must be an S-rank hero. Then Mao Rabbit came down behind them. Green Storm and Fire Fist turned around together. Fire Fist asked her what she wanted from them. After that, Mao Rabbit directed his power at them, and the Green Storm darted to protect Lady Fire Fist. The Green Storm thought that it was definitely over now, but it wasn't as bad as they thought. The Green Storm, addressing Mrs. Fire Fist, said that they really heal early. Fire Fist asked if this was some kind of rare healing ability. But who is she? Rabbit Mao introduced herself and said she was from the judges' organization. A helicopter with reporters flew near them, where the journalist said that the new heroine, who came with Mr. Ujai, is also a member of the judges' organization. She has the ability to heal and is healing the wounds of other heroes right now. Everyone wrote comments very actively and admired these two heroes from the judges' organization. Fire Fist turned to Rabbit Mao and said that the organization of judges is some kind of new heroic agency. She had never heard of such a thing before, but thanks to them, they together prevented this catastrophe. Rabbit Mao said that without any problems, her abilities are also worthy of respect. After that, they headed back together with Yongzai. The journalist said, addressing all their fans and those who watch this live broadcast, that superheroes once again protected the city of Lugansk from the invasion of monsters. And the greatest contribution to the victory was made by representatives of the organization of judges. And they sincerely congratulated them all. And they thanked me for my help. Green Storm started admiring Mao Rabbit and said she was so beautiful. And the heroine of the Fiery Fist was a little upset and said that they took all the glory for themselves. Yongzai said that his godson had asked him for a meeting. I wonder what kind of information he wants to tell them now. Then Mao Rabbit told him that her time was running out. Yongzai asked if the clone's lifetime was already running out. The clone's abilities returned directly to him, and this is very convenient. In the future, Yongzai will be able to create them in order for them to perform tasks instead of him. Even her memories have come back to him, and those lustful glances in her direction are just disgusting. Now it will definitely not create girls. In what clothes are girls comfortable communicating with each other? This sucks and is nonsense. Liu Yun was already waiting for his godfather with might and main. He asked himself that wasn't the girl's smile much cuter. Yongzai was watching him and thought what an idiot his godson was. Is it really so difficult to take care of yourself? He paid attention to the forest and thought that did Liu Yun not even know that he was being followed? Then he landed on him and asked if he had got anything. Liu Yun would be very happy to see him and said that didn't he even want to meet his godson. Then the two of them heard some rustling in the bushes. Liu Yun turned around and asked, "What is that sound? Who is sitting there?" Yongzai coughed, told him to give him these documents first, and he would check the information. Liu Yun gave his godfather the documents, and he began to read them. Yang Sissy said that it turns out that the Heroes Association had recently planned the opening of Beikang in the city of Lugansk, and he thought it would take them a lot of time. Liu Yun told him that he had heard that there were special items or equipment in the world that could increase the level of strength. They should get these things into their hands as soon as possible. Yongzai told him that the information was very valuable. He had done enough to exchange his merits for a C-rank ability, after which he took out a bottle of filling from his pocket and gave it to Liu Yun. Liu Yun happily snatched this bottle and immediately drank it. After that, he thanked his godfather. But when he drank this medicine, he started spitting and told his godfather that this medicine tastes like banlangen with powder that is mixed with the sourness of dark chocolate. Yongzai patted him on the back and said that good medicine is always bitter. After which, Liu Yun turned into a werewolf again. Now he had a C-rank ability. The name of this ability was still a werewolf. Description: abilities. Endows the owners of this ability with the powers of a hereditary werewolf. Every night during the full moon, the transformation will take place abnormally, but at the same time it will give the owner of this ability double the power. Assessment of abilities: Escaped Husky. Liu Yun was very pleased with his new ability and told his godfather that he was already feeling stronger and stronger. Yongzai told him that at this rate, his becoming an experienced S-rank user was just around the corner. In the end, everyone aspires to it, right? After which Yang Zai said that the mechanical hero, Liu Yuan, asked the godfather what he had just said. After all, his old man is probably drinking and bathing with a large group of beauties right now, and he just doesn't have time for it. But then a mechanical hero came out of the forest and said yes. But before they start talking, they have to let him chop this bad boy into pieces. It was already evening. Liu Yuan was pressed against the wall and asked, "Is it really serious?" He asked his father if he wouldn't even feel sorry for him. To which the mechanical hero replied that he was just a cheeky child. Come on, can he call his godfather already? He's leaking all the information, and now he wants to beat him to death. Yang Zai told the mechanical hero that he didn't even expect him to chase him personally. They made a deal with his youngest son because he really wanted to get the ability, so he shouldn't scold him for it. Liu Yuan told his father that he had had enough beating already. From now on, he will not divulge family secrets, and he should not worry about his connection with the godfather. The mechanical hero shouted at his son and said that he shut up and stood further against the wall. And already turning to Yang Zai, he said that this impudent was born without the ability, and he just gives him superpowers. Yang Zai thought, is it really without abilities? Apparently, he doesn't know his son well. He is an rank ability user, Rebirth. He's his ace up his sleeve. Yang Zai told the mechanical hero that it's a small matter. Giving him 1, 2 or even 3 abilities is easy. Liu Yuan was shocked, asked the godfather that he could really get other superpowers. The mechanical hero asked Yang Zai that could anyone even be a rank hero like himself. Yang Zai thought that the same cunning person can't cope with what he already has will pull even more. But this is a normal reaction. People who crave power will try to become stronger at any cost. And he said that, of course, but the price for a rank ability would be very high. The mechanical hero asked him to tell about it in more detail. Then Yang Zai threw him a blue pill and asked him if he knows what it is. The mechanical hero examined this blue pill and said that he had never seen such a thing before. Yang Zai chuckled and told him that he was not even aware of the fact that some people in his company were already using these blue pills. It is worth the hero to eat 1 such pill, and his power will increase 3 times. The mechanical hero asked him if he was also from the organization that produces them. To which Yang Zai said that no, he was from another country, but he was cooperating with Liu Yuan in order to get information about their organization. The mechanical hero turned to his son and told him to calm down and tell him everything he knows. Then Liu Yuan began to tell that Lai Kangyang is the hero, Bing Chuan. He ate a lot of this drug in order not to get rid of many naive people in direct ways. He saw it all with his own eyes. The mechanical hero was very surprised and asked if such a small pill really had such strong properties. He was wondering how Bing Chuan was provoking all these accidents. Here he finally got to the truth. And after all these words, he wants the mechanical hero to find out everything about their organization. Yang Zai told him that not only did he still need his help in order to enter the White Realm plan, but as a reward, he would give him a rank pill that would give a 2-fold boost. The mechanical hero asked him if he really wanted to join the White Area plan. Let him think that he did not tell him this, but the White Area is a very dangerous place. People die, enter there and never come back from there alive. Yang Zai told him not to worry about him. He just needs to use this ring in order to collect hyena abilities. The mechanical hero asked what are the genes of abilities. Then Yang Zai began to tell him that this is the most important ingredient in the manufacture of the elixir of abilities. Criminals take them from weapons, which turned out to be the body of monsters from materials and so on. And the White Area is full of monsters who are waiting for their death. The mechanical hero asked what he would do to prove that the elixir of abilities is so effective. Yang Zai said that his very existence is the strongest confirmation of this. If the mechanical hero believes that judges cannot be trusted and cooperate with them, then this is his right. Then Lai Yuan, who had already turned back, stepped in and told his old man that it was not necessary. He is still afraid that his father might interfere with his advancement. The mechanical hero couldn't stand it and hit his son on the head and said that they were a family. If his father had meat, did he really think that they would feed him meat soup? And already addressing Yang Zai, he said that it was good. He agreed to cooperate. He will deal with the hero Bing Chuan. Yang Zai already said on the flight that this was a wise decision, and he very much hopes for a successful partnership. He is looking forward to their next meeting. It was already late in the evening and Lin Naisu was returning to her room. She said the apartment building collapsed, and she didn't even expect to spend the whole night in the hospital. But when I entered the ward and saw Yang Zai and was very surprised, I asked him why is he here? Yang Zai approached her and said that he had been looking for her all day. He had heard that all the wounded from the shelter had been transferred here, so here he asked her what was wrong with her, was everything okay? Lin Naisu said that she received a small skin injury, there is no longer a house and she has nowhere to live. Yang Zhe told her that what was the matter, she could move in with him. Lin Naisu was very confused and asked him what did he really mean by living together. It's too early. Yang Zhe was also embarrassed after her words and said that he wasn't talking about that. Lin Naisu pouted and rushed to the window and said no, he should forget about this, she doesn't want to live with him yet. Yang Zhe wanted to tell her something, but she didn't listen to him. Lin Naisu came to the window and said that she was still thinking about her chicken. Yang Zhe asked her what she said, what kind of chicken? Lin Naisu turned to face him with a big smile and told him whether he knew that she almost died today. This mysterious Yoji appeared and saved her, he is so beautiful, and I thought that it would be necessary to interview him and inform the public about his good deeds. Then Yang Zhe couldn't stand it and grabbed her in his arms. Lin Naisu asked, what is he doing? Yang City walked over to the bed and threw it on top of her. Lin Naisu was confused and asked him what he was going to do. Lin Naisu looked at Yang Zhe questioningly. She told him that you can't do this in the hospital. After which Yang Zhe lay down next to her, they covered their heads with a blanket. Yang Zhe hugged her and told her to go to bed, and tomorrow he would help her with the move. Now she will live with him. Lin Naisu said it was fine. And she thought, is that really all? Is that all? The next day, Yang Zhe boarded the plane. He talked on the phone with Lin Naisu. Did he ask her what the frying pan had checked in the kitchen cupboard? Lin Naisu told him that she had already searched the entire kitchen and couldn't find a single grain of rice there. How can you be so sloppy? Yang Zhe had already boarded the plane and was packing his things. He said that yes, this is how he is. She can take his card, which he gave her yesterday, and buy everything she needs. Lin Naisu said that okay, she would wait for him until he returned from his business meeting. She would prepare a surprise for him, after which she meowed to him. Yang Zhe sat down in his seat and also meowed to her and said that they would answer her as soon as he got off the plane and said goodbye to her. The man who was sitting next to Yang Zhe heard this and said that oh, these animals. When the plane took off, Yang Zia looked around and saw Tian Dodo there. He thought that he was going to Shaju to make a deal with the Fanhai Chamber of Commerce, but he did not expect to fly on the same flight with Tian Dodo. However, in ordinary clothes, she is unlikely to recognize him. The men from the other seats also began to look at them, to think that two lovely ladies are with them today. The girl who was sitting next to Tian Dodo asked the stewardess if she could pass her a towel. The stewardess said that, of course, she would give it now. Then Tian Du saw how Yang Zhe was looking at her and said that he was staring at her like that. Have you never seen beautiful girls before? She called him a criminal and a pervert. Yang Zhe thought that if she had known that he was her beloved Mr. Yu Jai, she would not have been so angry at him and would not have shouted at the whole salon. Meanwhile, the stewardess had already brought a towel and wanted to give it to the girl, but Yang Zhe saw that the towel had fallen. The stewardess asked for help. Yang Zhe looked up and asked that someone had hijacked the plane. The man who presented the gun to the stewardess said that he was out of place. They should all put both hands behind their heads. The other hijackers of the plane also started shouting that they all put their hands behind their heads. Yang Zhe paid attention to the weapons they were holding, and thought that the weapons they were holding were made entirely from mutated beasts. The man noticed that Yang Zhe was looking at his weapon and asked him what was he looking at, and ordered him to quickly put his hands behind his head. Yang Zhe thought that those with a gun were users of at least the rank of what kind of organization dared to hijack a plane in broad daylight. But he can't reincarnate as Yu Jai in front of such a crowd. He just needs to come up with something. Meanwhile, the man ordered the stewardess to open the cockpit immediately. The stewardess said that it was fine, she would open it now, only she asked to let her go. The man entered the cabin and told his friend that they should act according to the plan. The stewardess asked this man, is the plane really on manual control? Where are they taking their plane? The man, presenting the gun to her head, said that, of course, they were flying to the tallest building in Shaju, the Jubai Tower, and they will all die together with their Class 2 workers. Then the man fired. The man sitting next to Yang Zhe said that this was his last flight in his life, but it was worth it to see such beauty. Yang Zhe thought, is this old man really thinking about girls before his death? And he asked, where did these kidnappers come from? Tian Dodo said that he said they took control of the plane in order to shoot down the White Tower, but they surely hate the 2nd District. If that's the case, then they've probably been on their own since the 35th. Yang Zhe asked her what really happened to the 35th District. Why does she think that? Tian Du asked him if he still hadn't heard about this story. Then Yang Zhe said that when Azuristar was just founded, people from the 2nd District invaded the peaceful 50th District. After defending the peaceful 50th district, the 35th district demanded from the government council, forcing the 2nd district to publicly apologize for the invasion of that year and compensate for the losses along with the damage caused. But the arrogant chairman of the parliament of the 2nd district rejected this decision and abandoned it. Undoubtedly, but their actions are very arrogant and cruel. But times are changing and such terrible terrorist methods cannot solve the problem. Chan Dodo agreed with him and said that yes, only they civilians would suffer from this. One of the terrorists will hear their talks. He approached Tian Dudu and asked them what the two of them were talking about. Tian Dodo told him that she had apologized to him about nothing and said that she would not do it again. But the man did not believe her and, grabbing her by the hand, asked if there really would be no more. And he thinks that it will be like that. He grabbed her and carried her to the door from the plane. Opening it, he said that if she wanted to die, he would immediately throw her down. Tian Dudu was very scared and told him not to dump her. There is no need to do this and began to call for help. Here Yang Zai withstood and stormed out of the place, saying that this terrorist was a scoundrel. But then two heroes appeared, one of whom saved Tian Dodo and told her not to worry, because he would take her back. Then the rank hero, whose name is Star Cloak, appeared and said that, forgive them, they were a little late. The man who saved, pulls up to, was also a hero of a rank and his name was Captain Cigar. After seeing two heroes, people began to rejoice. They said it was the rank hero, Captain Cigars and the Star Cloak. Now they are all saved. And Yang Zai exhaled and thought that now everything should fall into place. Star Cloak went to deal with the terrorists. Seeing how he was defending himself, Yang Zai thought that his cloak was a spiritual weapon that had a strong self-awareness. It is very difficult to underestimate his combat power. One of the terrorists said that really it's him, it's not bad. The Star Cloak in the video of them and said that only they and the guys were left. Don't they still want to just lower their weapons to escape? The terrorist was furious and said that all the people from the 2nd district are insidious and cunning, but do they really think that's it? After which they applied the fruit meat bomb ability. Star Cloak was very shocked and said that it was bad. And the cigar captain even dropped the cigar itself out of his mouth. After the terrorists used this ability, the plane began to fall. Civilians were terrified. Captain Cigar shouted to them to put on oxygen masks faster, and he has already turned to the Star Cloak and asked if he has any useful abilities. For example, he can use crying to lift a plane. Star Cloak didn't like it and asked if he really thought he was an S-rank hero. All the passengers are ordinary citizens, and he can lift only a few of them at best. But no more than that. This was heard by civilians, and they begged him to take them with him. Someone told him to take it with him, and he would pay for it as much as he wished. Yang Zai thought that they weren't going to pay right here, were they? A real farce has begun. People began to argue on the count of who the Star Cloak would take with him. Captain Cigar told Tian Dudu to return to her seat and fasten her seatbelt. Tian Dudu said that it was fine and said that the cigar captain was very kind. She ran up to her friend. My friend said that she was very scared. To which Tian Dodo told her not to be afraid, because she had already returned. Then the Star Cloak came up with something and told the captain of cigarettes that he had an idea, so he should follow him. Captain Cigar asked him what he was going to do. They can't abandon the passengers. Star Cloak. He was told that he needed to trust soon, otherwise it would be too late. And they both stood on his Star Cloak and climbed to the top of the plane. Then it dawned on Young 11, and he thought that he could also create clones outside the plane. After all, even with only 10% of the creator's power, this clone will surely be able to save the plane. Which Yang Zai did. He used his shadow clone ability and created his clone outside the plane. Star Cloak told Captain Cigarettes to use his ability and create a large parachute in order to slow down the plane's fall. Captain Cigar said exactly how he hadn't thought of it before. Star Cloak was smarter than him, and the cigar captain used his cigar smoke ability. After what you did, he exhaled and moved, saying that it was very tiring. Now he is almost exhausted. But it turns out that the Star Cloak has something else in mind. He was now standing behind Captain Cigar and told him that he was very grateful to him for his hard work, because it's so hard to be a good person. Captain Cigar looked at him and said that it was his duty as the owner of superpowers. Then a clone of Yang Zai arrived, who said that something seemed to slow down the plane. Did those two rank heroes who came to the rescue do it? Meanwhile, the Star Cloak made a spear out of his cloak and pierced Captain Cigar with it, saying that he was already sick of saying that forever. Yang Zai was very surprised and asked, "What the hell is going on here?" And the Star Cloak told Captain Cigar that he was better than him, but every time he went on a mission, he took all the glory for himself when he made him less popular, and because of this the sponsor did not want to cooperate with him. The cigar captain, writhing in pain, wanted to say something to him, but because of the severe pain he could not do it. Starcloak turned his back on him and said that since he was all so good, then let him die for these peaceful citizens. And he will also tell the press that Captain Cigar Pope died in a plane crash when he tried to save people like a real hero. After that, the Starcloak left. A clone of Yang Zai came to the aid of Captain Cigar, told him to hold on, because his ability should heal him. He used the Ray of Light ability, but Captain Cigar said it was useless, because he had wounded him with a spiritual weapon. Such injuries are no longer treated. Yang Zai was shocked and asked what. Captain Cigar said he was too naive. He didn't think he hated him so much. His poor son is still waiting for him at home to play football with him. Meanwhile, the Starcloak returned to the plane. People were very happy to see him, and someone said that the Starcloak was back. Are they really saved? But where is the other hero? To which the Star Melting replied that Captain Cigar threw all his strength in order to cover up the wreck, but he himself could not completely stop it. He asked his peaceful citizens for forgiveness and said that he could take only a few of them with him. After that, the Starcloak grabbed the most beautiful girls. Tian Dodo's girlfriend also fell into his clutches. She said no, she wanted to stay with Dodo. After that, the Starcloak flew away. The people who stayed on board the plane were in a panic. The man asked if they had really been abandoned to their fate, and the woman who was sitting next to him said that they were all finished, now they would all die. And Yang Zai stole Captain Cigar's ability and said that when the time comes, he will definitely avenge him. It was a rank ability whose name was Cigar Smoke. Description of abilities: materialize absorbed smoke, which can only be used in an oxygen-containing environment. Assessment of abilities: smoking is harmful to health, so you need to get rid of this habit. Then, through the window, people saw that Mr. Yu Jai seemed to be there. Had he come to save them all? Yang Zai used the metal control ability to delay the plane's fall. Meanwhile, the plane was getting closer to the ground and eventually crashed. And yet the plane was saved, and all the people survived. The civilians were happy. Were they all jubilant? They landed in the desert. Who caught me asking that where is the A-rank hero whose name is Captain Cigar? And where did Mr. Yu Jai go? He just saw him. Tiandu said that she was scared to death. She already thought that she would definitely die here. Surviving under such circumstances is not very pleasant. Then she remembered about Mr. Yu Jai, started looking for him with her eyes and said that, by the way, yes, since Mr. Yu Jai is here, then why doesn't she see him? Then 3 ambulances rushed to their aid, and in front of them was the Starcloak, which said that it was necessary to move faster, because the captured plane crashed. Dozens of wounded are waiting for them to rescue them. Journalists and reporters also flew here. The journalists said that they would keep all people informed of what was happening here, at the crash site of the stolen plane in real time. But no one seems to have been hurt there. Starcloak jumped off his cloak and said it couldn't be. Where did all the victims go? He saw with his own eyes the fall of the plane, how they managed to save all of mine, while not getting a single scratch. Then Tiandudu came up to him and started shouting at him, asking what he had done to them. Where did he take Sister Ron and the others? The journalists said that they do not yet know what exactly happened here, but the plane landed safely before the plane crashed. Some have seen Mr. Yu Jai, who is able to control metal. Perhaps he saved them all, together with Captain Cigar. However, they did not see where they disappeared together. Starcloak said that Captain Cigars is his partner, with whom they participated in the rescue operation together. Then the journalists came up to him and asked him if he would tell them what had happened here. Even for the sake of verisimilitude, Starcloak let out a tear and said that when the moment of the crash was very close, Captain Cigar threw all his strength to slow down the fall and died from lack of strength, and he was able to save only a few passengers. Taking this into account, he realized that a catastrophe was simply inevitable, so he called an ambulance as soon as possible in order to save the victims. But he did not expect at all that they would be lucky and all would remain intact. Then Mr. Yu Jai arrived and told Starcloak to stop pretending. Does he not know that there was this luck or not? Yang Zai went down with the cigar captain, whom she was holding in her arms, and told Star crying that here was his partner. Yang Zai approached Tian Dodo and told him that everyone says he saved this plane. Is it true? Yu Jai put the captain's cigar on the ground and said, pulling to the point that he only helped a little. And the true hero here is not him, but Captain Cigar. Tian Dodo asked that did Captain Cigar really die from overwork when I used too much of my strength? But where did the hole in his chest come from? The rest of the passengers on the plane said that there really is a huge hole here. What's going on here? It seems that Captain Cigar died not from overwork at all, but from someone stabbing him. Yang Zai turned to the Star Cloak and asked, "So what really happened here?" Star Cloak shouted at him not to ask him about it. After all, he has no idea what happened to him here. Yang Zai said that okay, in that case, let everyone know what really happened here. And addressing all the people who gathered here, he said that the Star Cloak lured Captain Cigar out of the plane under the pretext of saving people, and then he forced him to use all his strength and killed him when he weakened. And the evidence of this fact is right on his cloak. There are blood stains, the fallen general. It is enough just to conduct an examination of the blood, and everything will immediately become clear. People paid attention to the cloak of the Star Cloak and said that God, yes, there is actually blood. He wouldn't kill his partner, would he? Could he really have done that? But if everything is not as described by Mr. Yujai, then what can explain the wound on Captain Cigar's body? The journalists asked the Star Cloak to comment on Mr. Yujai's accusations. Is he telling the truth? And will the Star Cloak allow a blood test on his cloak? Star Cloak said he was stupid. He did not expect that his carefully thought out plan would destroy this scoundrel who appeared out of nowhere. He does not understand the appearance at all. The figure is luck. In what way is he worse than Captain Cigar? Why is he more popular than him? Yang Zai said that those people from the 35 region were surprised when they saw the Star Cloak, and betrayal was read on their faces. Yang Zai believes that the Star Cloak secretly made a deal with them and arranged for the hijacking of the plane, right? The Star Cloak rose into the sky and, laughing, said that did he really find out that too? That's right, he's also from the 35 region. I had to sacrifice so many brothers, and all in vain. He created a sandstorm, said they were dumb assholes from the 2nd region. Now they have to die. Star Cloak began to tell his story. He said that as a child he had a favorite raincoat that his mother gave him before her death. She said that all superheroes who save the world wear such cloaks. The Star Cloak was born in the 35th region, where the sun does not shine, where only ashes are around. Flowers were treated as saints, worshipping them. Although they had to dig in the trash in order to survive, Star Cloak was happy when he thought that the whole world was like that. Until one day he accidentally got into Region 2. Then he first learned that water can be delicious, flowers capable of blooming grow everywhere, that the sky is blue and the clouds are white. But the locals were just awful. As soon as he knew that he was from the 35th region, they began to look down on him, laugh at him and even beat him. Star Cloak thought that he had done something bad since he was treated like this. But as soon as he began to get to the truth, he discovered that it was not him at all, but these usurpers who steal resources, offend the weak and behave arrogantly towards others. When Star Cloak realized this, his cloak awakened its spiritual power. Then he forged a passport in order to stay there and in secret traded information with people from 25 regions. He provoked them to commit terrorist acts and then became a hero and saved people. Thus, the Star Cloak slowly turned from an ordinary resident into a respected rank hero. These stupid pigs started treating him with respect, honoring his might. He enjoyed it, basking in the glory, until the cigar captain appeared and all the attention shifted to him. Star Cloak couldn't stand it, so he tried his best to kill people, but he saved them again and again. But it's so much fun. All those stupid pigs and 2 regions, Captain Cigar himself, as well as these stupid rules deserve to die. They all have to die. Kai and Dodo said that Star Cloak was crazy and said that he was not himself. Who has he become and how does he differ from the usurpers he was talking about? She turned to Mr. Yujai and said that he had completely lost his mind. He was going to kill everyone. Yang Zai noticed one strange thing in this typhoon. He saw some kind of portal there, and I thought that this spiritual equipment depends entirely on the emotions of the owner, and after so many murders it was pumped up to S rank. Tian Dodo took out her bag and started digging in it. She asked what is really S rank. She really wants it for herself, but she's in ellipsis. But there is nothing in her bag that can compete with S rank equipment. What should they do? And ask Mr. Yujai that he can handle it. She looked at his hands, saw that they were shaking and asked him that his hands were shaking from fear, if even he was afraid of him. Then what would happen to them? Yang Zai asked her if she thought he was a coward. He's not scared, he's just excited. Yang Zai turned to the Star Cloak and said that according to his stories, he secretly killed the civilians of the 2 region to let off steam. Didn't he? Star Cloak said that yes, he had killed many, and those fans who turned out to be there. The random person he saved turned out to be a professor at his university. He saved them all, their lives should belong to him. Yang Zai shook his head and said that the rank hero of the million audience turned out to be a crazy jerk who kills the weak and constantly rushes from destroyer to rescuer. When a victim becomes an abuser, then all her motives become obscene. She does not deserve pity. Star Cloak laughed hysterically and said he sounded just like Captain Cigarette just fine. and as a reward, he will give him 100 seconds in order to escape, and then he will die. After which he started the countdown. Yang Zai applied his metal control ability. Starcloak opened his eyes and said that he was not so patient. Let's see where he ran. Well, when he opened his eyes, he didn't see him and asked where he had gone. Where did he run off to? But he saw Yang Zai rushing towards the portal and laughed, saying he was a dumbass. The hurricane that created the Starcloak began to dissipate. The people who were inside it began to fall. Starcloak was very surprised and asked what happened. Why did he disappear? What did Yu Jai do with his cloak? He found his raincoat and saw that there was a patch on it and it was pierced in 4 corners. Yang 11 thought that this was the first time he was using S-rank abilities to face a spiritual weapon of the same degree. He didn't expect that spiritual power was so hard to control. He shouted to Kyan Dudu to come up with a way to save the falling people. Kyan Dodo shouted at him not to worry and to rely on her, and she started digging in her bag. She found 4 eggs in it and threw them. They began to increase in size. Kyan Dodo didn't really want to use them since these beast eggs cost 30,000. They are too expensive to save people with them. The eggs cracked and liquid flowed out of them, which began to spread on the ground, where people fell. Starcloak was beside himself with anger and, taking the cannon, said that no, they could not survive. They all had to die. Yu Jai must return his cloak, and he started shooting at him. But Yang Sil deftly dodged his bullets. But it was not there. He turned around and saw that the bullet was coming back. Yang Zai asked if these were homing bullets. Therefore, Yang Zai had no choice but to cut these bullets in half. Meanwhile, the cloak of the Starcloak flew to him. Starcloak said it was all his fault. He was too careless when he let it fall into his hands. Then the cloak fell back on his shoulders, and then he went to attack Yu Jai. At that moment, Yang Zai lost activity and one of the Starcloak's bullets grazed him. Yang Zai accepted Zai to use his holy healing ability, but nothing worked out for him, and he thought that, as expected, Captain Cigar was right, saying that the damage that is inflicted by the spiritual weapon, this jerk is not treated by the healing ability. Seeing this, the Starcloak laughed and said that he was probably wondering why his wound wasn't healing, wasn't it? Due to the fact that his cloak is a spiritual weapon, he attacks the enemy's mental power directly, which is why treatment is impossible. Yang Zai was a little surprised and told Star crying that he was getting great equipment in his hands. Why should good go to waste? He doesn't mind if he takes it for himself, does he? The cloak of the Starcloak didn't like it very much. After that, the raincoat began rummaging in his jacket and took out blue pills. Young 11 watching this thought that absolutely all the lost heroes use them. Spiritual weapons of S rank, intensely blue pills become much more dangerous. Yang Zai can't beat him now. Meanwhile, the cloak began forcibly pushing these blue pills into the Starcloak, but the Starcloak doesn't want to eat them. Yang Zai thought that it seemed that with the increase in the power of the spiritual equipment, his master was also losing control over him. Now it can act consciously. Starcloak told Yang Zai that he had to eat this stuff again because of him, and his raincoat became just a giant size, and Yang Zai thought, wow, this raincoat is just huge, he won't be able to take off from here. Then the cloak covered him. Yang Zai said he was trapped. Starcloak told him that fortunately for him, he was unable to control it. Only he is able to cope with it, so he must die both in grief and despair. Some stars began to cling to Yang Zai. He asked what the hell was that? Why are they all sticking to him? And then the stars began to light up. They started getting hotter and hotter. But are they really bombs? Then there was an explosion. Tian Dodo was very worried about Mr. Yu Jai. The Starcloak told her not to scream, because it had already exploded and turned into ashes. Tian Du, before I started crying, I said that this could not be. But then, when the cloak opened and ashes flew out, appeared, and a huge iron thing, in which Yang Zai sealed himself in order to survive. Starcloak said that it was simply impossible how he survived after such a thing. Yang Zai started to shake himself off and said that he had let his guard down and almost died. Civilians began to rejoice. They said that, as expected from the magnificent Yu Jai. Tian Dodo shouted to him that she knew he wouldn't die so easily. Yang Zai told her that she always knows what to say. Yang Zai turned to the Starcloak and said that he got it from Captain Cigar. Starcloak was confused, after which he decided to attack Yang Zai. But Yang Zai used the ability of resistance and, addressing the deceased Cigar captain, said that he would avenge him. And he began to absorb the stars. After that, nothing remained of the Starcloak. Yang Xing said that he had pulled all the metal out of his body, and now he would turn into dust. And his former cloak was slowly falling towards Yang Zai. It was a star cloak. Its description, it has self-awareness, is a spiritual weapon, can attack directly the mental power of the enemy, is immune to a rank abilities, and it has incredible elasticity. Skill, Star Rain, stars explode, dealing damage to the enemy. Evaluation, the spiritual weapon dreams of becoming stronger, so it has power. This area should be careful and use it carefully too. Yang Zai told his new weapon that he was a good weapon. His old master is dead, now he will have a new one. To link them, you need to change its appearance. A raincoat and made a heart. It is interesting that Yang Zai replied that in order to keep such a weapon under control, he needs to be stronger than it all the time. Otherwise it will absorb him sooner or later. Then Mr. Yu Jai was hailed by civilians and asked him if he could save them. They are stuck in this liquid. Tian Dudu said it was egg white, and it was her doing, but she can't go back to the way it was. Yang Zai stood on his board and flew away, telling them to stay here and he would leave as soon as the resistance squad arrived. Tian Dudu fell to her knees and begged him not to leave. The backyard of Captain Cigar's house. There his son played football and kept waiting for his father. Then Yang Zai came up to him. The boy, laughing, asked him if he wanted to play football with him. To which Jan replied to himself that no, because he didn't come here at all for football. But when he saw him, he immediately wanted to play. After that, Yang Zai created a likeness of his father. The boy said he looked like a cloud. Meanwhile, Jan Blue noticeably placed cigar smoke in the boy and told him to start playing, and he would join in. Tian Dudu, along with his girlfriend named Yu Rong, were walking down the street and discussing what had happened. Tian Dudu said that, and then they were all saved by Mr. Yu Jai. It's a pity Yu Rong didn't see it. The battle between Lord Yu Jai and the Star Cloak was simply incomparable. Mr. Yu Jai took off, dodging the homing missiles of the Star Cloak, then beat him with one left. Yu Rong said that those who took the Star Cloak were less lucky because they were abandoned in the desert. But, fortunately, the helicopters arrived, otherwise they would have died anyway. Neither from the crash, so from the desert. Tian Dudu stopped her friend Yu Rong and said that maybe what they will do is fate, and they should value their lives more. Yu Damage agreed with her friend, said that yes, today she has a meeting with the organization of judges on behalf of Fanhai. We need to make a deal with them. She must be strong. A couple of days ago, an invitation letter arrived at their main office, and the senders turned out to be a member of the judges' organization, Mr. Yu Jai. She never thought that she would be chosen for this mission. God must have blessed her. It turns out that she will be able to see Mr. Yu Jai, who, as Tian Dodo says, is very handsome. Then Yang Zai appeared behind her, unnoticed. Tian Dodo told her friend what was behind her. Yu Rong turned around and, very scared, asked who he was. Yang Zai said what and why she was so surprised. Tian Du said that he looked very familiar. Is he a member of the judges' organization? Then Yu Damage whispered to her friend that she seemed to be a heroine. A rank from the second region, whose name is Swordswoman Blanche, said that in the organization of judges there is a man named Snake, whose peculiarity is a mask with the image of this animal. Tian Dudu came closer to him and asked what the snake was. Right. She is a friend of Mr. Yu Jai, who has recently been on the verge of life and death. Yang Zai said it was understandable. Tian Dudu thought that they were both from the judges' organization, but for some reason he is so cold, she needs to be friendlier. So she started telling him that they had come here at his request of the organization to help him with the goods. But where is the product itself? Then Yang Zai grabbed Yu Rong's hand and pulled her aside. Tian Dudu turned around and asked that why were they moving away. Yang Zai grabbed the rope and said that didn't she ask where the goods were. After that, he pulled the rope and the floor under Tian Dodo opened, and she fell there. Yang Zai thought that what kind of knife is one girl, let her tease. Yu Atron was very worried about his girlfriend and crawling up to this abyss asked if she was okay. Where is she? But there was only silence in response. Yang Zai started the countdown. After that, Tian Dudu screamed that she was rich, and turning to his sister, Yu Ron said that she should come down soon, because she should take a look at it. She had never seen so many jewels in her life. She wants to live here forever. Yang Zai said that these are the goods of the judges' organizations. For some reason, they hand them over to the care of Fanhai. Tian Dudu said that yes, they could definitely help them with these treasures. Don't let them worry about it. And turning to Sister Yu Rong, she said that how should one think, why did the judges need to transfer only the treasure of the Fanhai organization? Yu Rong said that Fanhai is the largest business agency. After trading, they will establish a basic trusting relationship that will help smooth future cooperation. Tian Dodo asked, what is cooperation? Yu Rong said that when raising the level, strong heroes rely not only on themselves, but they also need good weapons. Tian Dodo asked, does it really mean that they have people who are able to make weapons from monster materials? Yu Rong said that in the future, when he needs equipment or weapons, they will help him. Meanwhile, in the hospital room of Sister Yang Zai, this bluish light was flying all over her, but he began to rise slowly, and then his sister Fei Fei woke up and told her brother that she was in pain. Yang Zai had already returned to the city of Lugansk again and was now at its airport. Then Lin Na-su called out to him. She ran to him as fast as she could and said that she had just seen the news about the crash of the hijacked plane. She had already thought that she would never see him again. She hugged him and Yang Zai told her that she was exaggerating too much. Lin Na-su said she was so worried about him. Yang Zai said that everything was fine, he was fine. Lin Na-su said that the next time something like this happened, he should write to her that he was fine. Yang Zai said that it was fine, but now he would send her home, and then he needed to meet his godson. Lin Na-su asked what godson. Yang 11 realized that he had blurted out a little too much and said that he and his friends called each other that. Lin Na-su said that it was fine then, but he should return home as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan was drinking with the girls again. He kept complaining about his father and saying that this old man, after meeting his godfather, began to disappear somewhere in secret and he had no idea what was on his mind. It seems the godfather was just using him to get closer to his old man. And now that they've met, he doesn't need it anymore. Then Yang Zai appeared in his apartment and used the psychic explosion ability to make the girls lose consciousness. Liu Yuan asked, what's going on here? What's wrong with them? Then Yang Zai poured water on him. But since Liu Yuan had not yet realized that this was his godfather, he asked what kind of idiot dared to pour water on him. Does he really want him to beat him to death? Then Yang Zai asked him why would he beat him up? Then Liu Yuan realized that it was his godfather and said that no, he would not dare for anything in his life. And if he allows it, someone will beat himself only to him. Yang Zai patted him on the head and asked that didn't he just say that he was using it. Liu Yuan said that wasn't it. Yang Zai told him not to judge himself like that, because he has potential and he trusts him. Liu Yuan was very touched by his words, and he asked if it was really true. He has never been able to get people's recognition. Yang Zai said that, of course, to dispel all his doubts, he decided to arrange an expedition and give him a task as an official member of the organization, a spiritual contract, after which Lai Yuan passed out. He got into some strange place and saw a seal there. He asked what it was and touched her, after which the words sounded that the contracts were concluded. After that, he opened his eyes, found himself in some strange place. He asked that where is he now? Why does he feel as if he has found himself somewhere very far away? Then Yang Zai called out to him and told him that he had signed a contract with him in the spiritual, and had overcome the gap between body and soul. Liu Yuan immediately asked his father in the neighborhood, so where is his entire lower body? Yang Zai told him not to be surprised, because they are in a space that is controlled by thoughts. Recently, Yang Zai has received many spiritual abilities and the same type of weapon, and during his research, he discovered that the space into which people who have signed a spiritual contract fall. Liu Yuan asked what was going on. Did they lock him up? Yang Zai said that, yes, and asked Liu Yuan to immerse himself in his gem. Liu Yuan said he would try to concentrate his consciousness. After that, he moved to another place. He saw his godfather sitting on the throne, who asked him what he was staring at. Should he approach him? Liu Yuan immediately rushed to him and said that the organization of judges is much stronger than his old man. It's too cool. Yang Zai told him that he had said he would give him an official membership, and the place where they are now is called the Heavenly Palace. This organization is used for information exchange, and the next time their meeting will take place here. Liu Yuan was just happy and could not gather his thoughts. He asked the godfather that what was his mission, and what place will he take. Yang Zai raised his hand and said that as he had said, he would be given official membership in the organization earlier. At the moment, the position of the rat is free and Liu Yuan was very happy and said that from now on he was in the position of a rat, and was about to go up to Yang Zai, but he ran into an invisible barrier and fell. He asked what for what. Yang Zai came down to him and said he was in too much of a hurry, who told him that it was within his authority to appoint him to this position. In the organization he occupies it, and does Lai Yuan still want to be on the same level with him? Liu Yuan said no, he thought. The official membership he was talking about. But he was interrupted by Yang Zai, who told him to let him finish first. He said that the rat's position is free. This means that he can become a candidate for this position. Liu Yuan was very surprised, asked what the candidate was. Be one of them. Just don't let him say that there are other contenders in the person of his old man. Yang Zai said that Da Jai Zai Jiangxing he is also one of the candidates. The leader of the judge will determine who will take this place. And I thought that Liu Yuan is a very smart guy, isn't he? Liu Yuan was still in shock and said that father is too difficult. Is the godfather suggesting that he compete with his own father? To which Yang Zai replied that there was nothing he could do, because judges are an organization with strength in first place, and if Liu Yuan wants to take a high position, he must be capable and powerful. Liu Yuan told his godfather that he understood well, and he would not miss this chance. Let him send him on a mission sooner. Yang Zai told his godson that his father would never give him the glacier adventurer, so he really wants Liu Yuan to figure out how to trap him, and then he will deal with him himself. Liu Yuan said that no problem, he promises that he will handle it. But he has a question for him. Yang Zai told him to ask. Liu Yuan asked that if he became a rat, would the godfather introduce him to Mao the rabbit? He saw her on TV, and she remained in his heart forever, and if he manages to marry her, then his life will not be lived in vain. Yang Zai only laughed through his teeth and thought that did he really want to marry his clone? After that, he kicked his godson and told him that it was enough to dream. He had to run and complete tasks. After that, Yang Zai returned to his home. He sat at the table and waited for Lin Naisu to bring dinner and watched TV at that time. It was said on TV that a financial company in 2 regions called the Knights of the Round Table imposed a fine on the heroine of the rank swordswoman of the Seal Blanche. Those who provide useful information about it will receive 500,000, and those who manage to catch it will be given 5 million. Yang Zai asked, "What is Blanche?" At this time, Lin Nasu came into the room and said that the barbecue chicken was ready. She was in her underwear and tied an apron on top. Seeing her, Yang Zai was very impressed. Lin Naisu came up to him to put his dinner and asked him what was the matter. Does she look bad? Yang Zai said no, she looks just fine. He meant something else, why is she on the card? But he was interrupted by Lin Naisu, who said that didn't she tell him that she would surprise him? And it consists not only in delicious food, but also. But after Lin Nasu was very confused and could not finish, and stuffing a chicken into Yang Zai's mouth, she said that about nothing, let him eat. During dinner, Lin Naisu asked him if he had watched what? News about the swordswoman Blanche. Yang Zai said yes and asked what was the matter. Lin Naisu said that she heard from other reporters that the heroine of a rank Blanche was in collusion with one organization, and then disappeared after a mass attack in the 2nd region. Yang Zai asked what, but why? Isn't she a noble heroine with an excellent reputation? She is beautiful and strong. Lin Naisu said she didn't know, but she thought he was very worried about her. Yang 11 thought it was because they knew each other and he knew that she wasn't the type to do something bad, because she was always desperate to save people. And he said that a person with such a unique charisma might have some secrets. But he asked her to wait and said that tomorrow he would find out everything. Lin Naisu wanted to say something, but Yang Zai interrupted her and said that she was very good at cooking each of her dishes just incomparably. Lin Naisu was dissatisfied with something and put it in the chopsticks and putting the food aside. She got up and said that yes, he was right. She can't compare with her. If Na also helps others, then maybe he will pay more attention to her. Yang Zai also jumped up from his seat and ran over to Lin Naisu. He put his arm around her shoulders, then kissed her and told her that he was investigating this case, and not what she thought. Yang Zai told Lin Naisu that she was perfect for him, and Blanche was nothing compared to her. Lin Naisu said he said it wasn't what she thought. To which Yang Zai replied that he was a reporter, so it was important for him to know all the details of this case. Lin Naisu asked what is true. Yang Zai asked her that aren't all journalists like that. He is not interested in her in any other way. He only likes her. Lin Naisu hugged him again and said he was the best. Yang Zai mentally apologized to her, saying that sooner or later he would return her ability and apologize to her. The next day, Yang Zai was working at the computer. He asked, "What is it really so fast?" He opened the letter on the computer and it was from Kayan to do. In it, she wrote to Mr. Yu Jai and said that she did not expect him to want to contact her himself. And they ask him that he is interested in Fanhai's information from the Darknet. She will provide it to him immediately. And in the letter Kayan Dudu attached links. Yang Zai clicked on this link. He was given information about heroes such as the heroic messenger Sour Spicy Hero, Fury of the Earth Dragon, Princess Miao Miao, Glacial Adventurer. Yang 11, after reviewing all this, said that, as expected, everything is simple and straightforward from the Darknet. To begin with, he decided to check the information about the Sour Spicy Hero. Clicking on this link, an ad appeared that you first need to pay 100,000 in order to learn the information. I'm wearing asked what 100,000. It's better not to argue. He paid the money, he got all the information about the Sour Spicy Hero. The cat of his information is A526780. The real name of the sour spicy hero is Lee Jun. He graduated from the Hero faculty and Yunjin University. Now he works at the Red Abandoned Economic Enterprises of the city of Lugansk. The rank of this hero is B. He also participated in the invasion of the one-eyed jellyfish in a production on the business street of Lugansk. Recently, he has gained fame and popularity participating in various shows such as Running Hero and Funny Escape. He's probably interested in acting. According to a reliable source, the sour spicy hero with his daughter Lai Tian was invited as guests of the new show of the season, Where Daddy Was Hiding. Combat Skill Analytics, a rank potential recently fought a forest warrior. Apparently, he has gained a new ability, controls the power of his transformation. The names of skills and their strength are unknown, since sour spicy heroes have never fought in public, can rise to a rank, thereby raising the annual hero rating. After reading all this information, Young 11 said that the Dark Knight is quite reliable, even recorded the time when they, together with the sour spicy hero, taught a lesson to a forest warrior. But where did they get the information about the new ability? Therefore, Yang Zai decided to see what there is about Bing Chuan here. He opened the following link, but it said there was no information at the moment. Yang Zai asked, is there really nothing about him? Or was everything deliberately hidden? He decided to reveal information about Blanche and asked if they didn't have anything either. And the price of information is 700,000. But Yang Zai decided to pay such money. After that, all the information was revealed to him. Cat of Information B245716. Swordswoman of the Seal, real name is Dominique Blanche. She attached a financial company called Knights of the Round Table. The case is not solved. The incident began due to the fault of the hero rank, a masked boxer in the hotel. After a series of investigations, the financial company confirmed that Blanche, together with the organization of judges, had killed the masked boxer. In order to catch her and bring to justice, the Knights of the Round Table were united with the Association of Heroes. But one hero of a rank stopped his
Ach, stimmt. Oh, sorry.
Blanche from escaping from Lugansk, as a result of which he was wounded. She was last seen at the port of the city of Shaju. There are reports that Blanche and a member of the judges' organization, Snake, are in a relationship. After reading this information, Yang Zai was shocked and asked, what is a masked boxer? Was he one of the heroes of the Knights of the Round Table? Didn't their company know that he was standing in the Saints organization? Or do they have something to hide? And what kind of relationship is that? If Lin Naisu saw this, she would get angry again. Well, we'll have to see if there's anything else. He decided to reveal information about himself. In the note it was written that information about the organization of judges such as Yu Jai, Snake, Rabbit Mao and others is already online, and Yu Jai's personal data is already on sale. You need to pay 30 million in order to find out the main secret of this powerful hero. Yang Zai was surprised and asked if the information about him was worth 30 million. So now Blanche is being stalked. Maybe it's mostly because of him. Meanwhile, the evil dragon was arguing with his mechanical hero father. The evil dragon asked why. After all, he is his son. Why did he give Bing Chuan a chance to participate in the case of the white area? The mechanical hero asked his son if he really doubted his decision. The evil dragon said that he had promised that this place would be his. He promised that he would work with the heroine and explosive fist. They would go to the white area, where he would train. The mechanical hero could not stand it anymore and started shouting at his son that he had already changed his mind. He was no longer suitable for this role. The evil dragon asked why. Was it because he had lost to that Yu Jai that time? The mechanical hero slammed his fist on the table and told his son not to drag Yu Jai in here. How is it related to him at all? The mechanical hero got up and, putting his hand on his son's shoulder, said that his father has a head on his shoulders. He has no idea how dangerous this white area is. He is doing this for his son. The evil dragon pushed his father's hand away, and he said that he was saying that, but in fact he just didn't take him seriously. Then he went out and slammed the door. The mechanical hero thought he was stupid, because the white area is not just a territory with monsters, and those who were there also note that it is much more dangerous than they used to think about it. Come out of your father's office. The evil dragon saw his brother and asked him what he's doing here. Liu Yuan asked him what they are arguing about here. The evil dragon said that father wants to let Bing Chuan participate in the white area operation, and he is furious about it. Liu Yuan asked what? Doesn't the old man know that the white area is a great place to earn a lot of valuable materials from monsters? Passing by his brother, the evil dragon said that yes, if people find out, they will think that Lai Kangyong is Jai Zai Zhangsheng's biological son. When brother Shu Liu Yuan thought, why did the old man decide to send Lai Kangyong for surgery? What was he thinking? He needs to get to the heavenly palace as soon as possible and inform the godfather about everything. When you come to Yongzai Palace, ask your godson what brought him here at such an hour. Liu Yuan said he had something to tell. The old man sends Bing Chuan to the white area for surgery. Yongzai asked what he was up to. Liu Yuan said he didn't know, but his brother started arguing with him about it. It seems to him that he will not give Bing Chuan to him. Yongzai said that if he got rid of it, it would only alert people. Since Bing Chuan has a close relationship with Jai Zai Zhangsheng, then why don't you and him take part in this operation together? If something happens in the white area, then no one will be surprised. Liu Yuan asked that did his father really pursue such goals? Yongzai told him that then his task was to make sure that everything went according to his father's plan, and he and Bing Chuan took part in the operation together, and he should not worry about the rest. Liu Yuan said he understood, let him provide it. Yongzai returned to his apartment and said that while Lin Naizu was at work, he needed to improve his abilities in order to prepare for this operation. To begin with, he decided to upgrade transformation and cloning to B rank. After that, he received the ability to B rank. The name of this ability was transformation. Description: abilities, gives you the opportunity to transform in 0.01 seconds. 3 out of 9 costumes are available for transformation. You can change the parameters of the body, appearance, voice, personality, improves acting skills. And the owner of this ability should be careful when using it. Assessment of abilities. The owners of the ability definitely do not want to become a first-class actor. Yongzai also made another ability in rank. This ability was called cloning. Description of abilities: creates a clone that has the abilities of the host. The lifespan is now 6 hours. Ability score, and the amount of energy is significantly increased. After that, Yongzai said that the dragon's ability was used to improve the spirit of the depths of the sea and fierce fire to a rank. After that, he received the ability of a rank. The name of the abilities was Water Leader. Ability description: 1 skill is Blood Rain, 2 skill is River Defense, and 3 skill is Water Steel Spear. Ability assessment: one day Bok said that he would get rain and he went. 2 A rank ability was called King of Fire. Description of abilities: 1 skill is a Phoenix Chick. 2 skill is the control of a territory that is engulfed in fire, which does not exceed the level of the owners of this ability. Yongzai said that the dragon sounds very cool. It suits my personal quality as arrogance. The next day, Blanche was on the ferry with a man. She gave him the money and said thank you for your help. The man said thank you to her and called her a beauty. But that's what interests him, because she is bathed in money and fame. So why would she be To which Blanche replied that the curious Varvara himself knows that if he wants to live, he should do what he should. And if anyone asks, then let him say that he knows nothing about it. The man said that he would keep the questions to himself. It was already evening and Blanche was walking around the city. She said it's only been a couple of days since she stopped in Shaju, but now she doesn't belong here. She's already turned from a superheroine into a criminal. Those who pursue and want to catch her are rank heroes, which is very problematic. She thought that a masked boxer could pretend to be a fighter for justice and a hero, but he was just a servant in the organization of saints. He must die. Why are companies not interested in her motives, but instead just chasing after her? When Snake used the identity of the masked boxer, he never managed to follow this hero in Shaju. He can only be found in Lugansk, where Yu Jai constantly appears. The one who laughed and asked her if she really thought she could escape from them. Blanche immediately jumped up and saw that the man to whom she had given the money was already dead. She shouted that if they came for her, then why kill ordinary people? People remained circling around her at a fast speed and told her that, of course, they had come for her, but all her allies must also die. She remembers what she did to them then. It's time to take responsibility for your actions. Blanche said if he wants to fight, you should show up, not hide in the shadows. This man laughed and asked her if she was really angry. What difference does it make? Because his task is to kill her by any means. Then he wounded her. He said she was going to die today. Then Lin Nasu came up to her and asked if she was okay. She looked at her a little better and asked what had happened to her. But Blanche told her to get out of here as soon as possible. Lin Nasu started calling for help. Yang Zai came to the rescue in the form of a snake. He covered the girls with himself and told
ist generell eigentlich günstiger.
Them not to be afraid, because he was already here. The man who attacked the girls asked, "What is a snake? Is he the man from the judge who defeated the Saints organization?" Yang Zai asked him that since they already knew each other, then why didn't he run away? This man laughed and said how much arrogance he did not expect to see him here. He really wants to see what he's capable of, and applied his Chrysanthemum Kai explosion ability. Young 11 was very surprised and covered this ability with himself so that she wouldn't get the girls. Then Blanche realized that the Chrysanthemum explosion, so he was Wang Shuxiang. Wang Shuxian came out of the shadows and said that do they still remember him? Blanche said that 2 years ago she caught him and put him behind bars. They even wanted to give him a life sentence. How did he manage to escape? Wang Shuxian laughed and said that, of course, he was helped with this. From now on, he is not that weakling Wang Shuxian, but already an S-rank user. Blanche had already taken out her sword and said that even if it cost her her life, she simply had to re-achieve his imprisonment. Yang Zai thought that his abilities were clearly above a rank, but if they didn't start fighting, Lin Naizu might get hurt. Now he can't fight with him, so we need to scare him away. Therefore, Yang Zai told him that he was certainly strong. But he was not alone here either. Yu Jai, the S-rank hero from the judges' organization, will arrive soon. Does he really think he can beat them? Wang Shuxian said what if he kills him before he shows up? Yang Zai told him to give it a try. Blanche shouted to the snake that no, he should run away soon, because she couldn't stop him. Lin Naisu at this time grabbed the phone and said that they would not leave them here to fend for themselves. She would call for reinforcements as soon as possible, because of the Hero Association. Wang Shuxian jumped on a lamppost and said that this time they had the numerical advantage, but one day he would come back for their lives. Then he disappeared. Lin Naisu said that they had succeeded in intimidating him, and the snake asked her that she hadn't called the Heroes Association. Had she? Lin Naix exhaled and said that she also just wanted to intimidate him, and Blanche is now wanted. It would cause her even more problems. Then Blanche said that she had a question for the snake. This is about the organization of judges. But the snake interrupted her and told her that first she had to be cured, and then he would come back for her when the time came. Then he left too. Lin Naisu asked that all these powerful heroes just love to disappear without a trace, don't they? Blanche said that tinsel is pure water, no one else does it like that. Lin Naisu asked her that she was sent, should she take her to the hospital? Blanche shook her head and said no, because it was too crowded. Lin Naisu has to go because she needs a secluded place to use her powers for regeneration. Then Lin Naisu suggested that she go to her house. She could rest there. Blanche asked what was going home. Then Yang Zai rushed over, and I asked Lin Naisu what she had been doing in the toilet for so long. But when he saw Blanche, he pretended to be very surprised and asked if it was really the famous heroine Blanche. What is she doing here? Blanche asked Lin Naisu who he was. Lin Naisu said it was her boyfriend. They went out for a run, and she suddenly wanted to go to the toilet. And already addressing Yang Zai, she told him that on the way she saw Blanche being attacked. Now she is injured, so she wants her to rest in our house. Does he mind? Yang Zai said,
Gerne. Wenn's warm ist, ja.
said fine, then let him carry her. The three of them were already approaching the house and Yang Zai was carrying Blanche on his back. Yang Zai asked Blanche if she was dating the man who was stalking her in Lunan. Blanche said that, and asked that how the two of them ended up in the port. Lin Naisu said she wouldn't believe it, but they actually just went out for a walk, and by chance they saw how this guy attacked her. Blanche thanked them again and said that she was a wanted criminal, so why did they need to attack her? Lin Naisu said that the Blanche she knows has always sacrificed herself to save others. She helped the children in Shaju, so she and Yang Zai do not consider her a bad person. Blanche said she didn't kill the masked boxer, and she also didn't work with the mysterious organization of judges. Yang Zai said that he had heard that the masked boxer had something to do with the saints in the city of Shaju. Even if Blanche had killed him, it would only be for the best. Blanche said it didn't matter how he died anymore. The main problem is that someone wants to use his death in order to get rid of it. And maybe also, but Yang Zai finished for her, saying that to involve judges in this organization, making them enemies number one. Blanche asked him if he really thought that too. Yang Zai said yes, because the rumors of the news are not so much against her as against the fact that she is cooperating with them. Lazy Naisu said that they have a good reputation because Yu Jai has saved the meadows many times, and now the snake has helped them. Blanche told them that maybe they didn't know, but lately heroes from all regions have become afraid of them. They even say that the organization of judges wants to take over 53 regions or even the whole world. Young 11 was very surprised and thought what? And Blanche went on to say that it made her realize that she was being hunted by people from all over the world. And judging by the reward that is promised for her, there are not so many people who want to get her. They are chasing her for information about her cooperation with the judges. Lin Naisu asked that how did it happen? Blanche said that since there are as many as 53 regions, the distribution of the number of superheroes and their abilities should be uniform in order to avoid the superiority of one region over others. These are the rules. That's why the Heroes Hour Association sends its members to another area. They call it a vacation. Lin Naisu said that clearly this information is confidential, so ordinary people like them won't really understand anything from this. And Yang Zai thought about it and thought that the heroine Explosive Fist had not been in Lugansk for a long time. And when the invasion occurred, I must say that she had only recently returned from vacation. It turns out that she fought in another region. Blanche said that there are too many strong heroes in the judges' organization, and the most powerful of them is Yu Jai. Because of their sudden appearance and uncontrolled enormous power, they have become a kind of lever of pressure on heroes from other areas. Someone wants to take this opportunity to bring all the superheroes together and destroy the judges. Yang Zai asked that are people really capable of spreading so much hatred with just rumors? Maybe they want to gather an army of heroes in order to resist the judges. Lin Naisu was shocked and said that they were encroaching on world peace. Yang Zai thought that the organization that trades blue pills is good at manipulating people's knowledge. I wonder if it has something to do with that attacker. Abilities appeared hundreds of years ago on a sky blue planet, which is now being watched by the white area. But there is also an organization that plans to destroy this place, and Fei Fei's problem with that blue light is still not solved. How tired he was. Young 11 asked Blanche that did she really come to Lugansk in order to confront the judges, to which Blanche replied to him that exactly the opposite. She came to find out everything and help them. Yang Zai was surprised and asked what could help the judges, to which Blanche replied that she was familiar with the snake and they had gone through fire and water together for the organization of judges, and now he miraculously showed up and saved her. She believes him, so she wants to ask about the true motives of the organization of judges. Yang Zai thought that miraculously, he just heard strange noises and overpaid hurried to Lin Naisu. Meanwhile, Lin Naisu asked Blanche that she thought Blanche liked a snake. Blanche shouted that no, he didn't like it. Meanwhile, in the main office of the Fanhai Chamber of Commerce, Tian Bukui said that he did not think that such a rich and powerful organization of judges would be born among the four great seas. He turned to his daughter Kayan Dodo and told her that if she managed to join there, the opposition of the Kayan family would be greatly strengthened. Tian Dodo said that she would like it very much too, but despite their close relationship with Mr. Yu Jai, he never asked her to join the organization. Maybe then they can bribe him with treasures. Yu Ran told Tian Du that she was so smart. Tian Bukui laughed and said that okay, then let her organize an exhibition of weapons from monsters, and let her invite him there and give S-rank weapons to their family. Let the judge know about the strength and sincere intentions of their Tian family. Tian Dodo hugged her grandfather and said she was fine and thanked him. She always knew that he would not refuse her. But, apparently, her friend, Yuran, was not very happy with this. She thought that the judges. The next day, Lin Naisu was setting breakfast on the table. Yang Zai came up to her and hugged her from behind. Lin Naisu said she got a message. It said a morning meeting, so he can't have breakfast with them. Yang Zai told her that then let him give her a lift. Lin Naisu said that everything is fine, not worth it. He must go, wash and sit down, have breakfast, otherwise what she cooked with such difficulty will be in vain. Lin Naisu said she had to go and, addressing Blanche, told her to stay with them and recover. Blanche thanked them for taking care of her, but she should be on her way. Yang Zai asked what for. After all, everyone outside only wants to catch her. Blanche said she had things to do and tasks to do. She must continue, no matter what. He should not worry about her so much, because the wounds have almost healed by the will of fate. They will meet again. Yang Zai thought that he had secretly treated her last night and not so that she would go to certain death. He wanted to say something to her, but she had already disappeared. After breakfast, Yang Zai headed to the sea. He was standing on a rock and said she was trying out dragon skills here. Yang Zai took the form of a dragon. He was in the sea. He noticed someone and said that he seemed to know those two. He headed for the boat. Tian Dodo was on the 100 with his girlfriend. She told them to get out because they are not welcome here. She was just talking to a dragon with a fiery iron, a dark sword master, and Jill. The dark sword master told her that was she really sure of that. Without the support of their organization, the Tian family will never get an S-rank weapon. Tian Dodo was not going to back down and said that even after so many years, they do not stop playing the role of a dog that chases her, and now they believe that they are strong enough to bark when stepping over her. The Dark Sword Master said that he just hates their 7 for impulsive decisions. Even if he is a dog, she will still be able to surpass her. Then Yuran came forward and told them not to embarrass themselves. The Dark Master of the Sword asked, "What is shameful? Let him better show her what a shame is." He ordered them to tear Jai Yurong's clothes into pieces, because he wants to see how the two among the 4 seas looks like a beautiful girl. He appeared to Yang Sim in the guise of a dragon and said that a beautiful lady. He can ask them in which country the city of Lugansk is located. Tian Dudu was very happy to see him and asked that, judging by his appearance, he was Yu Jai's partner, right? Yang Zai asked, "What's the partner?" Well, she compared, of course. He's a dragon from the judges' organization. The people who were on this ship ran out. Everyone started taking pictures of him. Someone said that they have a new member of the 12th zodiac sign on the Chinese calendar. It's going to be hot in here. And someone said that he behaves like a teenager. I wonder what he's even capable of. Yurong came closer to this dragon and greeted him, saying that they were friends of Yu Jai. And I asked him if he could take them away from here. To which he replied that he could not, because it was they who had to leave. The Dark Sword Master didn't like it. He called him a brat and asked that how dare he provoke the organization of love. Then they began to step on him. Yang Zai began to raise the water vapor. Everyone was very surprised by this sight. Tian Dodo asked what kind of attack is used. Yang Zai applied the river protection ability. And grinning, he asked that this was all they were capable of. Can't they do anything else? Then now it's his turn. Gil decided to attack Yang Zai first. But it didn't work out as Yang Zai blocked his attack. Gil said he couldn't move at all. After that, Yang Zai injured him with a drop of water and Gil fell. He thought that even a drop of water could become a serious weapon and injure people because of the difference in their fighting skills. He had no chance to defeat him. Then a dragon with a fiery iron attacked him and said that it had already become clear that his element was water, and the force increases near the sea. But he can close the gap in strength. Let his fire dragon iron teach him a lesson. Yang Zai told him that he was weak, but so annoying, who said he could only use water, and he thought that by activating the Fire Lord, he would be able to control the flame, which is below his level, after which he used the Fire Lord ability. Yang Zai told the Fire Iron Dragon that now he would also show him what it was like to be chased by a fire dragon. The dragon with the fiery iron was very scared and ran away. He said that this guy has 2 types of abilities. They should get out of here as quickly as possible. And the people on the ship just enjoyed this spectacle and photographed Yang Zai. One of the men said that he owns both water and fire at such an early age. The strength of the judges' organization is truly incredible and frightening. There are a lot of powerful heroes gathered there, it's just a sensation. Yang Zai then landed on the same vessel. Yuran came up to him, to whom he told that Gil had left so quickly, and he had just shouted, as if to save him, to beat him to death. Yurong thanked Yang Zai for saving her. Tian Dudu also ran up to him, who told him that since he was from the judges' organization, then could he help them find Mr. Yu Jai. They really wanted to invite him to the auction, which is arranged by Fan Hai. Yang Zai told her that he had a way to help them contact him. and then invite him personally. Tian Dodo asked, what kind of method is this? Yang Zai told them that if they signed a spiritual contract, they would become followers of the judge's organization. Tian Dodo's eyes even lit up, and she asked that it was really so easy to become their representative. Yang Zai said that he came at all on Yu Jai's orders. He hopes that they will be able to become representatives of their organization in order to continue to help them with goods. And he himself thought that the world is huge and he just needs to explore the territory of the four seas. Therefore, the Tian family would become a reliable ally. Tian Dodo said that she really wants to join. Yu Rong said that if it does not harm the Chamber of Commerce in any way, then it is also ready for it. After that, Yang Zai signed a spiritual contract with them. At this time, the evil dragon was training and watching TV. Then he saw on the news that a new dragon hero had appeared. Seeing this, he quickly dropped the dumbbells and ran to sort it out. In the evening at the auction of weapons, Chambers of Commerce, Fanhai, Yang Zai also came there in the guise of Yu Jai. When he got there, everyone started whispering. One of the men asked if Mr. Yu Jai was that famous and powerful hero there. Someone said that he had heard that he was cooperating with an organization that has an S-rank hero. And someone asked, isn't the Tian family in a state of decline lately? Why, then, are they still supported by such a large organization? Grandfather Tian Dodo came out to meet Yang Zai. He told him that he had heard a lot about him. Yang Zai said that he, too, finally managed to meet with the head of the Tian family. Grandpa Tian Dudu told him to sit down, because the auction will start soon. Then the Dark Sword Master came and ordered them all to stop. He said the important guest hadn't arrived yet. Where are they in such a hurry? Yang Zai thought that this jerk seemed to have prepared well. It looks like things won't go so smoothly now. The Dark Sword Master asked what was the matter. Isn't he welcome here? Doesn't he have an invitation too? Tian Dudu came up to him and told him not to think that she didn't know what he was up to. No one will bring their own weapons to the auction. The Dark Sword Master told her that it seemed that the situation of the Tian family was even worse than he thought, since they were so eager to find allies. The weapons of the Tian family have always been famous for their strength. However, the price for it is appropriate. And considering the recent events, the Dark One and the Sword Master brought their own weapons from the monster here in order to try them out. There's no problem in that, is there? Yu Rong couldn't stand it and said that he was publicly insulting the Tian family. Tian Bukui told her to take her time. Then Yang Zai came up to the Dark Master of the Sword and asked what he and the Uruk family were doing. The Dark Sword Master said yes and asked him if there is any problem. Yang Zai told him that he has some connections with the top of his family. The Dark Sword Master thought it was well done and asked him if he can ask who exactly he knows. Yang Zai began to think that, and how could he find out with whom exactly he was just bluffing now? He already knows him, and he will definitely understand if he lies now. In this case, in order to answer this question, he can only use. And then Yang Zai laughed and asked that why wouldn't he ask them about it in person when he gets home. After that, Yang Zai began to lay out the weapons on the table. The Dark Sword Master came up to him and asked if he really knew his aunt. Yang Sissy said that he got this equipment from his friend's son, and it is awarded for its quality, and asked everyone to take their seats. Everyone took their seats and went out. The host said that welcome to the auction of weapons in the Fanhai Chamber of Commerce. An armor was rolled onto the stage, and the host said that the starting price of this armor is 3 million. People started offering their prices. Someone offered 3.6 million, someone is 4 million, and someone is 6 million at all. The Dark Sword Master called them all idiots and said that the same armor costs no more than 5. The Tian family must have exposed her in order to deceive people. Just don't let them tell him that they really don't have a really rare weapon. Then the presenter demonstrated the following lots, said that he believes each of them is related to this lot. One of the most outstanding works of the head of the Tian family. These are the Gloves of Light. The initial price of this lot is 200 million. The Dark Sword Master said that the old man deliberately laid out his main trump card in advance. The dragon with the fire iron said that it was a 2-star S-rank equipment. And Gil added that if an A-rank user has 3 gloves for a day, then he will be able to resist the power of S-rank. Yu Rong was also surprised and said that the price had increased to 300 million. Tian Dodo said that these gloves are with any collection of her father, and now they can just. Chan Bukui told Yu Jai that if he is interested, then why not try to put up his price. Yang Zai thought that the budget of the entire organization of judges is only 200 million. What other price? Tian Bukui patronized Zero to his hand and said that the Fanghai Chamber of Commerce intends to cooperate with the judges' organization, so he should accept this modest gift. Mr. Yu Jai should be shy. He is provided with the financial support of the Tian family. Then Yang Zai said that he would gratefully accept this gift. But then the Dark Sword Master offered his price and said that 310 million. The presenter said that 310 million and asked if someone could give more. Then Yongzai said that 315 million. The dragon with the fiery iron asked the Master of the Dark Ball that they would really continue to raise this price, to which the Master of the Dark Sword said that no, he would give them to him. Meanwhile, the host said that they were congratulating Mr. Yujai on teaching the Gloves of Light. After that, 3 lots were put up, which was called the 1-star Jade Shield of S rank. Then the Dark Sword Master came on stage and interrupted the presenter. He grabbed the sword that Yongzai was putting on the table at the time and said that if they were selling something, they had the right to try out the goods first, didn't they? Yongzai thought he couldn't hold back, right? Yu Rong said that the Jade Shield is made on the conscience of using materials with a rank like the pattern Black Bee, but it is most effective against the spell as it provides magical resistance. But in order to block physical attack, Azure Blue, Tian Dodo ran up to Yongzai and asked him if he would lend her his Gloves of Light. She wants to destroy this sword. Yongzai patted her on the head and told her to calm down and not worry about this. She should be patient and just watch. Meanwhile, the Master of the Dark Sword struck with the sword that he grabbed from the table and hit the armor with all his strength. He said it was simply impossible. Contrary to his expectations, the sword broke into small pieces and the armor remained intact. The participants of this auction were very surprised. The man asked if the Azure Blue sword was a fake. It can't be that a member of the Uruk family used a fake weapon. Apparently, he brought in a fake sword in order to ruin the auction. It's very ugly. Tian Dodo asked Mr. Yujai that did he know in advance that this sword would not be able to destroy the shield. In fact, Yongzai used the stealing ability and switched the sword. The Master of the Dark Sword said that how could this be? The dragon with the fiery iron told the Master of the Dark Sword that Mr. Yujai touched all his weapons and after these touches they all lost their power. Tian Dodo told him not to dare to blame others. Isn't his weapon S rank? It can't, it will just collapse at a single touch. The dragon with the fiery iron told her not to forget that he also had S rank abilities. Maybe he can change the internal structure of objects. Then people thought about it and said that it was logical, because Yujai definitely touched each of their weapons. The Master of the Dark Ball said that if we are talking about deception, he believes that most likely it was done by the hand of the Tian family. Since such a dispute has arisen, they must find out the truth with the help of other weapons. Yongzai said no problem. After that, the Master of the Dark Ball took another weapon and began to test it. But this time everything went well. The Master of the Dark Ball was shocked and said that the attack and defense of this equipment is at the level of S rank. The problem is not with them. Then she came up to him, pulled him to the milking, said that he had had enough. At first, he treats them cruelly, then throws mud at their clients. And he still has the nerve to show up here. A dragon with a fiery iron turned to the Master of the Dark Sword and told him that he thought there was a traitor in the family who knew what was going on. After that, the Master of the Dark Sword told his subjects that they were leaving here. Young 11 thought that fortunately, he interrupted him before he could remove the dark energy from another magic weapon. Then Yu Rong came up to Yongzai and said that he deliberately spoke to him in order to. But she was also interrupted by Tan Bu Kui, who told the esteemed Mr. Yujai that he would also very much like to know what he did with that sword, and invited him to continue their conversation in the VIP room. Meanwhile, in the city of Lugansk, it was already late in the evening and Blanche was walking the streets. Then she turned her attention to the building and saw 5 elements there. One of the girls told her that hadn't she been taught that walking alone in the dark was very dangerous. Blanche snapped and said that no, they didn't teach her, but she would be one. The man told Blanche that she could not cope with their 5 elements, because today would be the date of her death. After the auction, they went to the reception. Tian Bu Kui told Mr. Yuzai that there are no outsiders here, and he hopes that he develops all his doubts. Yongzai said that whether it's a monster or a hero, both have ability genes in their bodies. And one day he discovered that weapons that are made of monsters also have these particles. Yu Rong said that the genes of abilities, it's like energy from alchemy as far as she understands it. Tian Bu Kui said that, but they masters can only feel and use it, but not extract it in any way. I wonder how Mr. Yujai does it. To which Yongzai honestly said that he was collecting it. It is his absorbing star ring tool that is able to extract the genes of abilities. Tian Du asked if he could really collect them with just a ring. Tian Bu Kui stood up and said that he had some achievements in alchemy, but he had never heard of collecting gene abilities. He showed Yongzai a brush and said it was a D-rank wolf brush. It accelerates healing, and I asked Mr. Yujai if he could demonstrate it to them. Yang Zai took this wolf brush and thought that with only 30 units of dark energy, it was better to leave everything as it is. After that, he used his stealing ability, and again he handed this wolf brush to Tianbu Kui, and I told him to check whether he was right or not. Tianbu Kui, taking this wolf brush, was very surprised and said that its energy had disappeared. It's just a huge breakthrough in alchemy. Yu Rong asked Mr. Yu Zai that how does he use these received genes. Yang Zai thought that she had finally asked about it. If he told the Cayenne family about the production of the elixir, it would help improve their combat capability. And next time, Yang Zai won't have to fight alone in the territory of the Four Seas. After his thoughts, Yang Zai told her that they could be used to create special elixirs. It is thanks to them that all members of their organization have 2 or more abilities. Tian Dudu was insanely happy with these words and said that if the ability genes can be used to create equipment, then the 7 mythical S-rank weapons that exist only in theory can be made in practice. Yang Zai said it was a pity to disappoint her, but it was simply impossible. But in fact, he had been wanting to ask the head of the Chan family about something for a very long time. Tian Bukui also said that, of course, he could ask him. Yang Zai said that the weapon is made from a certain part of the monster. Then why can this small part of the genes reach 30% of the total mass? Chan Bukui said that after the death of the monster, a phenomenon occurs that is known in alchemy as a beam of energy. The energy is collected in a certain place, and they extract exactly this charged area, and then use special techniques in combination with an alchemical matrix to make a weapon out of a specific monster. And if Mr. Yu Jai is interested in alchemy, then he will be happy to demonstrate his years of accumulated experience. Yang Zai said yes, he would like to see it. Meanwhile, in the city of Lugansk, helicopters with reporters were flying there again. The formalists said that there were about 10 heroes gathered on Changkin Street in the city of Lugansk. The man, hearing this, asked what they were talking about, where did so much come from? But then I saw an evil dragon along with a lazy swordsman and a fiery fist. The evil dragon asked this man that it was his prey. How dare he encroach on it? The man said that he was the patron of dragons, but they were the first to find the seal swordswoman, 5 elements, and they are openly trying to take her away from them. 2 is not done, is it? The evil dragon was just furious and said that Blanche is a traitor, and they are 5 elements, because they are also from the Association of Heroes. Did they think he would just let them all go? Then he attacked this man. The journalist said that the patron of dragons can instantly kill a tiger with golden claws. Will his opponents in the face of 5 elements now be able to escape? A lot of comments poured in. Someone wrote that it's cool the patron saint of dragons is too beautiful. Today he will definitely commit a 5-fold murder. But the Red Lotus is also nothing such a great body. And someone asked, what kind of unscrupulousness? Will they really support the villain? To which he was told that what difference does it make if he's just his type? Why not then? Meanwhile, the Ice Fang and the Earth Bear and the Tree Man attacked the evil dragon from all sides. Seeing how the patron of dragons quickly dealt with the tiger with golden claws, the girl was very scared and thought that he had demonstrated his strength. If she did not want to die here, she should escape as soon as possible, so she will have a chance for retribution. But she didn't have time to do it, as the patron of dragons reached her. He told her she couldn't run away from him, and looking at Blanche, he said that now it was her turn. Liu Yuan watched them together with the fire butterfly through the TV. The fire butterfly calmed Yuan's people, telling him not to worry. After all, Blanche is not in the best shape right now. The defeat of his brother is almost impossible. Liu Yuan said yes, he wasn't worried about him, and he thought that he was worried about something else. Is Blanche a member of their organization of judges? And if her brother kills her, what will he say to his godfather? The fire butterfly told him that even though he says he's not worried, his face betrays the opposite. He and his brother are on very good terms. Liu Yuan headed for the exit and said yes, could she follow the broadcast while he was in the restroom? And he himself thought that no, he should immediately inform the godfather about it. He went to their palace, where Yang Zai asked him that why did he